my advisor's return. I just made it back myself. Why do you retain this vessel now that your true form is known? You could have flown across the island in a fraction of a time. Be that as it may, the sight of a massive creature descending from the sky can be startling to say the least. And there are a few places I can enter comfortably without risk of flattening some cart or stall. Fair enough. As for my inquiries, the people of Palakistan were unanimous in their reply. They are surviving. Resources were stretched to the limit when refugees were pouring in, but they persevered with some assistance from Yidamad. From what I understand, they have always been an independent community, hunters and foragers and the like, and I was assured that the jungle provides for their needs, for the most part. Palakistan has weathered the disaster better than most, it seems. I myself heard good news and bad. The Quivermen were cautiously optimistic, having just sold a full wagon of giant skull to a foreign trader. But such visitors are few and far between. Compared to our best years, the weight of stone leaving Thavner has been light indeed. Our nation is small and isolated, its prosperity dependent on a steady stream of exports. We must identify any obstacles to the flow of trade so we may begin working to remove them. Tell me, what did you learn in Akyali and Yalamad? Kind of the same business, honestly. I see. Without a dedicated buyer, the average fisherman must struggle to offload his daily catch. Which is why I believe we should first address the lack of ships and shortage of able-bodied sailors in Yalamad. I'm reminded of a child I spied as I made my way back to the palace. His father lost at sea when the beast sunk their vessel. So many variations of the same tragic tale, repeated over and over. So many lives lost. And quite a lot of them like that. Enough grief to drown in if we let ourselves be overcome, but we will not. Sarah Estinian, I will consider the perspectives you brought me and devise a plan to help my people confront this adversity. Come, I would like you to be in attendance when I announce the proposal to my assembled functionaries.
I thank you for your attendance. The riches the Radiant Host have retrieved were hoarded in Al-Zadar's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need.
Like that day's now.
That day hath come. May it aid our wounded city in reclaiming its vibrancy and vigor. In better times, I would leave such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul. Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly. Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Kalazar's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. A simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society. Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come. Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course?
Takes a village. Taxes, levy them on trade profits in exchange for your investment. Oh. Takes a village? I don't know which one would be better. I don't know what this one even means. Let's do this one.
Of course, we must all look out for one another. Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of our Zadal's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage. Now, such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name.
Something with Kazan seems appropriate.
A fitting candidate. Kalzal should be remembered, not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavne, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred. Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well. Isn't that right, men?
This bodes well for that boy. Murad, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation. Nabdeen, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor. Clerks, see to the management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. Reminded of Ishgard.
Oh. Looks like we're gonna put that money, the treasure that we found, to good use. Ooh. What's this guy want? Thank you for putting forth Kalzal's name. Those whose lives he enriched will take comfort in seeing his legacy honored. You'll forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from Archon Y'shtola. She asks that you meet her at the High Crucible at your earliest convenience. Understood. Thank you. Y'shtola must have finished her study of the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say then? I will go with you. I thought the satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. The clerks have been the well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Ahel 1 assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done. And I am curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish, allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. Alright. Let's see what she learned. Well, looks like we have our new bad guy. Whoever that big old guy is. He reminds me of Garland. Then again, it's not like big hulking armored guys are exactly rare in this series, let alone this game. Y'shtola, what you got for us, girl?
Right, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world.
Yeah, that was indeed what happened.
The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many voidsent found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
An excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power.
Gargoyle.
call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first.
Oh.
And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No, the danger is too great.
We're gonna go inside?
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
I'm gonna go inside?
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I assure you I was most attentive, and I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
I'll be right there with you. Count me in.
I had a feeling you might say that. Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single void scent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daimir was overseeing the project.
Daimir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made void scent?
That sounds like
Yes.
something,
Being
alright.
great admirers of the Archons, House Daimir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
I mean, a
If
man-made
that's true,
void
then
scent.
those notes might
you know.
still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with...
With Graha's favorite place to sneak around.
Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy.
Ooh.
In which case, I say we head directly to Charlene.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves, I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Let us be on our way as well.
Looks like we gotta sift through a bunch of books. Maybe we can find something.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
Ouch. Alright, well, I guess we're going back to Charlene. Alright. Oh, inshallah. If we don't enter Nomenon's restricted archives with a minimum of fuss, then we must secure the permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one springs to mind? What if Scholar Montagin? He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry, after all. To settled, let us head to Phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Oh, she's just walking with us, sir. I guess that means that I can't actually teleport away. I gotta walk with her, hand in hand. I wish. There's no like little things that I could talk with her with. I wonder if there's anything I can actually talk with her with. Fuck. If I was pressed to name our allies in the forum, Scholar Monteshane would certainly, yep. What's that? Oh, look, there's something to talk with her right there. Oh, let me do that. I apprenticed Master Matoya at the age of 7 and labored under her tutelage for a full decade. I never had the chance to attend the studium. Not at the Thancred, as I recall. Soon after Master Louisoix took him in off the streets, he was put in the care of another Archon. His was a rigorous and practical education in the arts of espionage and survival. I sometimes wonder what my life might have been like had I pursued studies here instead. Should I wonder as well? Tea at the last stand after a day of lectures? Oh, that does sound lovely. Afternoons with friends spent sipping tea and debating theories. Still, I wouldn't give up my time with Master Matoya for the world. The think cave I studied in was about as far from the bright, airy halls of academia as one could get, but it was a wondrous and magical childhood nonetheless. Now, I'm here for class. Visitors, and quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Scholar, but we were hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Numenon's restricted archives. Oh, no furtive forays into the stacks this time, eh? I applaud this newfound sense of propriety. Yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? Something about the void. Need to learn about it more. Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if we had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Daemir has lain dormant in Charlene's archives for many centuries. And if you unearth his research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void about that. That is, in fact, precisely what we intend. To what end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift. For one, that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiments aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future. Yet I want to understand everything, to unravel it all down to its very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was the promised reward? Ah, marvelous. An audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and the wherefores, I for one do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to present your request for the forum's consideration. No, thank you. Although, your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. Why, Master Fortuno, of course. He can hardly ignore an earnest request of his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master Fortuno on our side would tip the balance in our favor. And very well, we will pay a visit to the Liveryear estate and plead our case. One last thing before you go. I will consider a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours, I'd wager, so if you could see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity. Of course, Scholark. You will be sure to pass on any revelations. Ichi. My. Now. Still follow me? She's still following me. Does that mean that I can't? I mean, the last time I tried to do this in what's it? And I at hand. I had to go all the way back and get her again. Or not her. Who I was with. Whenever I teleported. We're gonna go to, and they're gonna have to go all the way. Walking. Well, looks like we're going for another nightly walk. Oh. I think I just go straight through here. Yeah, it wasn't that far. Just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Hello. You're required to talk to Fortuno. Ah, Mr. Saris, Mr. Sistola, how may I be of service? You've come to speak with Master Fortuno. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Wow. Hello. Jesus, you're as tall as ever. Well, Emilians would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. You have some matter of import to discuss? Then pray proceed. You have my full attention. You want to open the void and go in it. Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Scholar Monteshane expressed much the same sentiment. I assure you, we will not attempt to circumvent the forum's authority again. Unless it is absolutely necessary, of course. Of course. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? If no pressing need exists, then why risk the consequence of employing this forbidden knowledge? For a brother who misses his sister. She was his guardian and his friend, a selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. 'Tis no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but if he was a worthy cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Tugging at the heartstrings, huh, Yushala? Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair exchange for our cooperation. Oh, look at that. Knowledge for knowledge. We'll not celebrate just yet. The forum must still be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at the Baldessian Annex. Oh boy. Did you still follow me? That she is indeed. Wait, where do I go? Oops. Oh, I go back to the annex. I guess he did say the Baldessian Annex, huh? And blow out everybody's ears with the fucking Paladone. What are they doing? Can you fall on the cliff? You can. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I guess that's for the thing with jiggies. Oh my Jesus. That's a big thing. Look at all those bugs. God damn. So, what did the forum decide? To put it bluntly, Master Montoya has burned some bridges here in Charlian and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that her student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. And the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms I might add, of the incredible debt we owe you and your companions. That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return. I guess Fortune will talk some, talked us up a little bit, huh? He's a little bit embarrassed, huh? That's wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. Yes, well, as I am sure you are aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor and bid you good day. Tsundere. Ever the same, that one. Uncompromising, aye, but that very stoicism is exactly what Charlia needed to guide it through not one but two exoduses. Oh. That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes for getting my hands on those forbidden tomes, and now I can simply walk in through the door. Our focus will be on finding House Demir's research notes, of course, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume? Yeah, you presume correctly. Then you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. Oh, it was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Shall we? Yep. Looks like our date with Y'shtola continues. Our book date. Isn't that romantic? Picturing up how to go into a world filled with hellspawn. Quite romantic indeed. Oh god. I forgot to change my controls. Usually I'm so used to just left click and being able to walk or like look around while walking at the same time. To think the set of instructions I laughingly imagined may actually exist, but yalms away from where you found me napping. If I had known of Al-Sadal III's exploits sooner, I could well have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I had already learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Can I still talk to her? No. Index page. Archon Ursula and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives? Follow me if you would. Watch your step, and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. Don't worry, I'm not a mage, so. Strange bookshelves indeed. How are we gonna reach those? I don't even think the ladders are high enough.
If House Damir's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
There's a lot of bugs to go through. Like I was treated like a dungeon. Untitled journal. You got what I'm looking for? Today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. It was so unlike her ravenous brethren, eyes blazing not with hunger but trembling like a candle's flame and threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential, insignificant even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite transcendent being. Though you are tempted to read more, this does not seem to be the body we are seeking. I mean, xenophilia is a thing. In the year 1564, the 6th astral era, the Amalja summoned Ifrit, their patron god. Accounts describe the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with a potent command of fire-aspected magics. We consider that primal summoning is an act fueled by faith and prayer. It is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resulting deiform entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge from the ether should one who believes in an almighty omniscience attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grace us with his presence? Some other embodiment of divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing? And if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spell to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic wisdom of every age? Yet with no means to verify its pronouncements. How could one be certain if they were true? Though your mind spans with the possibilities discussed therein, this does not seem to be the one mystique. Let's try downstairs first. I've read that one. Is there any other one downstairs? No. There's this one. This music is going hard though. Following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures as devised by Nuhashan, the 9th patriarch of House Daimir. We present these research notes to the faculty of Charlian Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. We'd have a look at the forbidden volume we seek. Ursula will need to make the final confirmation. Looks like we found what we're coming for. Have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies, I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by the contents. Seems to found the very book we are looking for. Well done, sirs. I think you may have found our prize. I think so too. I think so too. Oh man. It's a fancy looking book.
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I felt the traces of House Damia's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about.
You're not gonna throw gospel the fact that someone wanted to fuck a void scent. Oh my god.
Among the ranks of the Void Scent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures. A talent which sorely tested the Radiant host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos.
They didn't just create any void scent, but one specifically to make a gate.
How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon void scent, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales.
Maybe?
And still, House Damia went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves.
Found some void scent smut over there. Might be interested in that.
Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Look at the little guy. And the luscious locks. Goddamn. The Eorzea has been added. I would hope. As much as I would love to start crafting the Atomos, I'm afraid this is far outside of my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hannish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our House Demir project. My business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message will be conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron mode disabled. Security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, then done again. I say we return to Thavner and look for her at the Great Work. Alright then. I wonder if that's what we're going to explore next in the next expansion. The Void, the 13th. Is that where we're going to be sent to? At least, ooh, voice crack. At least maybe a part of the next expansion will be in the 13th. Oh, she's right here. Istilla tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study and that you want me to be a part of it. That is true. I have no doubt you will be interested. This researcher log should speak for itself. Will it now? By the sisters, this is the mark of House Demir. I never even knew such a word existed. If you should, it is sequestered in Anumenon's restricted archives after all. And to us, that means every word within it is forbidden knowledge. That it is? Forbidden tome filled with forbidden research, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand? I can hardly wait to read it. He's quite excited. To think that the Demir were developing such a marvelous technique so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries, I wonder. Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new mock Atomos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a Demir project that had even the redoubtable scholars of Charlian trembling in their sandals. No alchemist of the great work could resist. You are a woman after my own heart. Oh, I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big mouth simulacrum once we built it? Go inside. So there's a secret void gate, and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is the day of revelations indeed. If the purpose of our man-made Atomos is to expand this hidden portal, then we'll need to see it for myself, I think. Manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. Then by all means, accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly, once we've finished gathering the components I require. Charlian's markets provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals. But I might need help obtaining a small quantity of ashly infused water. For such a liquid, you need go no further than the fonts of Maya. The ascetics of old once favored the place for their meditations, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you would be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I will petition Richo to join us. The idea I had in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we be about it then? We'll meet back here and on. Alright, I gotta get a jug of water, huh? Where'd that be? Oh my. Oh, that's that big old thing that went over there. Yep. I gotta see it over there. Yeah, right here, right? Or is it further? No, it's right here. Okay. Ashley Den's pocket. Look at that. Got the water. Go back to the great work. Estinia's here too. Do you have that flask for me? That I do. Unbudget. Yes, this should suffice. Thank you, service. That's good. No. But I guess just get that. Look who I came across. Estinian seemed in need of diversion, and we, in turn, may have need of his lands. Right then, now that our little party is assembled, let us make our way to the ruins. Will we have need of Matsuo's boat again? At this time, once Ishila informed me of our destination, I arranged for a vessel to be made ready at Akiali. Your Excellency is ever the gracious host. Shall we? We shall. Let's head on over there. The ship is yours to command. I think we said it once. Oh, this is so exciting. Alzadal's legacy to see the truth of religion with mine own eyes. All aboard for the treasure vault. Yeah. And here we are. Look at that. Quite quick. Oh, the spooky music.
The ruins alone were impressive enough, but I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty. It may have been helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
What is it you're doing now?
There is something I wish to verify. The NOAA reports claim that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance. Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater. Gra has theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the void's corrupting influence. But I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the 13th ourselves.
So, this is an experiment of sorts.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale?
I don't think that's smart enough. Say nothing and look meaningfully at his studian. Maybe he's not familiar? I like the choices they're giving us.
Very good. I see you've been paying attention. As Vritra sent his simulacrum, so too shall we rely on a familiar to bear the brunt of any unpleasant consequences. Now, a lowly imp can navigate a fissure, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same. I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
Oh no, what's she gonna summon? Gonna summon that one thing?
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to summon?
From ocean rise and cloudbank form, from mountain spring and rainfall storm, from river flow and life be born.
Alright. Magical girl Y'shtola?
Water, froth and foam!
That was something. I never expected to hear her like that.
Ready your arms. I feel she's been possessed.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
Reach us. I'm like, what did I just watch? Oh, that's what she summoned. She's embarrassed.
Though not my first choice. These familiars I conceived of as a child have the best chance of fitting through the gate.
Oh, she made these. Let's explain the
I wish my
chant.
younger self had considered a more dignified ending to the creation ritual.
But it was cute. That was adorable.
In any case, these two should serve as well. This one will bear a warding scale.
Just stick it in it.
And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption. if I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
He's still like, what the heck did I
Yes, of course.
We should also be wary of void scent slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nadana safe from harm.
I'm sure that was quite the shock compared to how she usually presents herself.
As you say.
You had best be on your guard as well.
Look at me. I'm gonna say a froth and foam.
Oh, are you volunteering to join the Nixies? I could shrink you down, you know.
I think I'm fine. It was just a joke, please.
Let us begin, shall we? Nixies, into the void.
It's gonna come back a monster. I swear though, if that's I don't think it is, it can't be, but if that's Xenos somehow, that's something else. I don't know. I don't know if it can. It can or can't. Oh well. That's it for this update. So thank you everybody for watching. And see you all next time. Goodbye.